In today's video, I'm going to be doing another video in our series of fall baking for Vlogtober, and this time I'm going to be taking a recipe out of this book, Apples, Apples, Apples. I got this at a gift shop at a camp when we went camping one time many years ago. Kids were really little. I think Olivia was like 3. I haven't really cooked a lot of recipes out of this book. As it implies, it's all just apple recipes. So I try to cook at least one recipe out of it every fall. And so this time I'm going to do this apple cobbler. So I'm going to, instead of having to write this all out in the description box below, I'm just going to hold it here. You guys can take a screenshot of it. And if you want to make it, you can make it. So I have some apples I need to get used up. So I'm going to make this. I think I'm just going to make a single recipe. It makes an 8x8 pan. Unless, I don't know, we'll see. Unless I decide to use up all my apples and they make 6 cups. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my apples ready to go. Get my oven preheated to 475. And we'll get this recipe going. The original recipe called for 3 cups of sliced apples, and I had enough apples that were getting wrinkly that needed to be used up that I was able to double the recipe. So I have 6 cups of apples here, and so I will be putting this in a 9x13 pan. And so the next thing you do after you get your apples peeled and sliced is you put them in a pan and you toss them with the sugar. Now I'm going to be using my stevia blend just to lighten this up a little bit. And then you place it over low heat and bring it to a boil. So that's what I'm going to do next. Once it comes to a boil, you add 2 tablespoons of flour, mix that in, and let it come back to a boil. And you just let it cook till the floury taste is gone and the juice is starting to thicken. The flour is a thickener and it's thickening up fast. I can turn the heat off now. Okay, we're going to just leave this on the stove, and now we're going to work on the topping, the actual cobbler part. So keep in mind, I am doubling this recipe. When you take the screenshot, that will be for a single recipe. So in this bowl, you're going to put 6 cups of all-purpose flour. Then you will add 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Two teaspoons of salt, and you will whisk all this together. Then you will add 2/3 cups of vegetable oil, and 1 1/3 cup milk, and I'm going to be using almond milk. And then you're going to just blend this in, mixing it very well. I really felt like the cobbler dough was too thick and it was too dry, so I did add about another 1/2 cup of almond milk to make it a looser, more like a dumpling type consistency. Now you've got your 9 by 13 pan here, and you're going to pour your apples in. And then you're going to sprinkle them with cinnamon. It doesn't say how much cinnamon in the recipe. In fact, it's not even listed in the ingredients. So I'm just going to put however much I want to put. I'm going to turn my fan off. It's blowing my cinnamon. You know, I do love cinnamon, so I will probably put a good 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I'm also going to make this a little bit more like apple pie. And I'm going to add just a little bit of nutmeg, just a couple shakes of nutmeg. Nutmeg is pretty strong. And then a tiny little pinch of cloves. Cloves is even stronger than nutmeg, so I don't want to go overboard with it. But I just feel like it would be more tasty with a little bit extra seasoning in it. And I'm going to go ahead and add some cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon to the dumpling cobbler dough as well. I won't add the cinnamon right now. I will sprinkle cinnamon on the top after we dollop these on to the apples. Now, I don't know if the recipe was a misprint or what, but this seems like an awful lot of dough to me to go on these apples. So I'll just dollop them on till I feel like it's full enough, and then the rest I will just make into biscuits because I just really think that's too much dough. That's the one thing I found in this book. These are really old recipes, and you know, back in the olden days they didn't really write stuff down. They just did it by memory. And so when they go to write stuff down, they're just like guessing, I think, a lot of times. So I really think, because when I was measuring out that 6 cups of flour, I thought, wow, that's a lot of flour. But I'm going to go ahead and just dollop these on here. Nice generous sized little dumplings. It looks like I'm definitely going to have dough left. That's okay, we like biscuits in this house too. These biscuits will have a little bit of nutmeg and clove in them, but not a lot. I just put a little bit in. I just hope there was enough baking powder for the amount of flour if this recipe was misprinted. Well, there's not a lot of dough left, but there's way more than I need for this. So we'll call that good. And I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some cinnamon on here. And then you bake this in a 475-degree oven for about a half hour, or until the dumplings are golden brown and done. So I will bring you back when this is ready to serve. And I would serve it warm, and I would be really good served with ice cream, but we don't have any. So I'll just serve it warm, and I will taste test it for you when it's ready. Here it is out of the oven. It only baked for about 25 minutes. Didn't have to go for the full 30. This is how many biscuits I got from the dough that was left. This is like lava right now. So I'm going to let it cool down for a few minutes, and then I'll scoop myself up a serving and give it a taste. I'll also taste the biscuits too and see how they are. Alright, here it is all done, cooled down a bit, still warm. I broke one of those biscuits in half, and they just definitely look like a biscuit inside, so that's good. So if you make this recipe, keep that in mind. You'll probably end up with cobbler and some biscuits. I am going to go ahead, since I don't have any ice cream, I'm going to go ahead and put some of this oat milk creamer on. It's caramel flavored. Just going to drizzle a little bit of that on there. Then I'm going to give it a taste, and I will let you know what I think. I'll bring you back because I don't like to eat on camera. The biscuits are excellent. They taste like biscuits, so it's not a bad thing that there was too much dough. And that is absolutely delicious. I would highly recommend that if you make this recipe, that you definitely have some vanilla ice cream on hand. Serve it warm with vanilla ice cream, and your family will devour it. It is delicious. Olivia's eating some over here, and she keeps saying, And I agree. It's very, very good. Alright friends, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you're planning on giving this recipe a try. Don't forget to take a screenshot of it, and don't forget to add a little more milk. You want the dough to be moist, not dry. So add as much milk slowly until it comes to that consistency, and don't be upset if you have to make biscuits out of the rest, because they're really tasty biscuits. Alright friends, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with more Vlogtober. Bye bye friends.